For my practical assignment, I had the opportunity to interview a woman named Chrissy about her son Jackson and their life living and learning with autism. According to the CDC, approximately 1 in 59 children are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. So it is important for all teachers, not just special education teachers, to learn more about autism and how it impacts the day-to-day life of a student with autism and their families, as well as the implications for learning. I'd like to share with you some of Chrissy's thoughts, my observations, and the implications for teachers when working with a child with autism.
I asked Chrissy what made her suspect that Jackson might be on the autism spectrum. She stated that her and her husband began to notice something wasn't quite right with Jackson around 12 months old. He was demonstrating behaviors such as banging his head on the walls, crying uncontrollably, and he was bothered by lights and noises. He woke frequently at night, and he started to lose some of the words he had acquired up to that point. They were starting to become concerned that something was wrong, but they had no idea what.
Chrissy and her husband looked into early intervention and had Jackson evaluated through an in-home consult. After the consultation, they were given information on autism and told to explore that further. Chrissy said, getting the diagnosis was bittersweet. Now we could begin to get the help and support Jackson needed, but now he had a label, and he is so much more than autism, and I want people to see that. I asked her if she had a preference about using the term child with autism or autistic. She said that she had used both, but she tries to say child with autism or that Jackson lives with autism. She explained that when you say someone is autistic, you are labeling, almost as if to say that is all he or she is. When you say that Jackson lives with autism, you are saying that it is a part of him, but does not define him.
Today, Jackson attends New Holland Elementary School, a public school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is about 25 minutes from Jackson's home. Busing is provided, and Jackson benefits from the routine and structure that his school provides. At 8 years old, Jackson is nonverbal and is still working on potty training. Chrissy spoke about how the IU-13 helped them greatly during his first few years of early intervention, and how they took care of everything when it came to getting Jackson qualified for special education. Once Jackson reached school age, his home district took over. When I asked Chrissy if she was receiving the support she had hoped for from Jackson's IEP team, and if there was anything she wished was done different, she said that she was very happy with the support that she received, and she only wished that she had a little more control over what teacher he was assigned to and what classroom he was placed in. She spoke about her biggest struggle with schooling and said that handing over control to someone else was hard to do, especially because Jackson cannot speak up for himself. They ended up giving him a TSS, a therapeutic support staff, pretty early on, so he has extra support and an extra set of eyes and ears. Chrissy accredits the care and schooling Jackson received early on to where he is now. I asked Chrissy to tell me about the little things that trained professionals have done with Jackson to help him get to the point where he is now. What has made the biggest difference? She went on to speak about Jackson's kindergarten through second grade teacher and how her knowledge about how to work with students with Jackson's level of autism was the greatest blessing for them. To quote Chrissy, she had everything to do with how far Jackson has come, from helping him communicate better with signing a little to being more affectionate and caring for others, following directions better, and working on potty training. She was the biggest influence in our lives to date. I'll never forget how she reached out and helped me deal with my feelings and understanding of the school system.
Jackson's schooling and therapy consists of occupational and speech therapy, which he receives at Schreiber Pediatric Rehab Center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. While Jackson is in an inclusive elementary school, he is in a verbal behavior classroom for children with autism that utilizes VB mapping. According to Sundberg 2012, the VB map is a criterion referenced assessment tool, curriculum guide, and skill tracking system based on B.F. Skinner's Applied Behavior Analysis of Verbal Behavior, ABA. The assessment program provides a clear and accurate picture of the whole child, including the child's abilities, possible language and learning barriers, and the type of instructional model and educational setting that might be best for suiting an individual child. He qualifies for monthly respite care, which provides additional support for Chrissy and her husband. Jackson demonstrates a lot of the typical behaviors of someone with autism. However, many of his behaviors are severe and can be destructive. He wears headphones almost always as a way to drown out the noise around him. While he can become easily agitated, making loud yelling noises, and sometimes even becoming violent, there are simple things that make him obviously happy, like being outside. When he is happy and enjoying an activity, his smile and laugh light up the room. He hardly sits still for a moment, and he always carries around a ball that he likes to bounce off of his chin rhythmically and ritualistically. His older siblings are two of the most gentle, compassionate, and helpful children I have ever met, and Jackson's parents equate that to the empathy they've needed growing up with Jackson.
When I asked Chrissy what advice she would give to a general education teacher working with students with autism, she said, "Be patient and understanding with the child and the parents. Treat those children as if they were your own, and know that they may not seem like they understand or are listening, but they hear everything you say. So always practice patience and kindness. Remember that a lot of times the parents, while they may be putting on a brave face, may be on the verge of their own breaking point. Genuine empathy and caring goes a long way." As a final thought, Chrissy said, "To see life through the lens of a child with autism makes you celebrate the little things and truly take nothing for granted. It has made our whole family better people for it. The everyday challenges are overwhelming, exhausting, and trying for our marriage, but at the same time, it has made our marriage and family stronger. I just want people to see the Jackson that we know and love, and not just see him for his autism."